We're just going to go straight to the intro because I don't have a little blurb for the beginning of the thing like we used to do.
Oh no. Totally winging it. Whatever shall we do?
Here we go. Let's see how this works. See if I can remember how to do this. Well, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I am your host, Tony, and joining me back for the first time in I don't even know how long at this point, I've got Ethan.
It's probably been over a year.
I think so. In fact, I'm almost certain it has because I moved last August, and we had stopped doing the show a little while before that, a few months before that, actually. Gosh, when was our last episode?
That's a great question.
I'd look it up, but it's been so long we can't even get into our account to look up the old episodes.
We'll have that figured out by the time this is live, though. I hope.
Do we even remember how to do this at this point?
We talk into microphones, record the audio,
magic happens,
throw it on the internet. No one listens to it, and there we go.
That's not true. We have some people that listen to it because I know I've had a few people been like, "When is the podcast coming back? Please tell me the podcast is coming back." And so I know at least a couple people that will be very happy.
Yes.
So
if you're expecting more of a blurb from me on there, I didn't have anything, so it's like, all right, yeah. I mean, I wanted to do a podcast as well. In fact, I think last one would have been that would have been before. Anyway, I'm not gonna. We'll get to that.
Okay. Yeah. So we're back. We're gonna be doing this for a while. Hopefully, again, because I missed doing the show. I am glad we have decided to bring it back, at least for a little while.
Unless you hate it, then it'll go away.
If everybody says this is the worst thing ever, then we won't do it anymore.
But if you like it, tell your friends, tell your family, spread the word, get them to listen, hold them down, tie them to a chair, put the headphones on their head, hit that play button.
But do it on their phone so that we get the count for the extra play.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, Alexa, play the Procedurally Generated Show. I had to mute and tell her to stop real quick. I'm so sorry.
I would be amazed if it actually played our podcast.
I should just randomly do that at some point. Google, play the Procedurally Generated Show, just in the middle of the episode at some point.
That was the last one you were listening to, and you're like, I can't do this right now. Pause this, and then never.
Or you're like in the middle of listening to it, and it does that, and the phone picks it up anyway and it messes it all up. Oh man, that would be confusing.
Yeah, we've still been doing our weekly Saturday streams in between the last time we did the show and now, but I'm very glad we are getting back to recording the podcast. And we'll try to see if those Saturday streams will still happen. We're going to figure all of this out as we go along, I think.
And Cole will join us at some point. He had family stuff to take care of for a couple of weeks, so he'll be here eventually.
We're doing this right at the end of spring break as we're getting back into school. And so my kids are getting back into school. His
spring, summer.
Kids need to see parents. Parents need to see kids. It's all a thing. So, yeah.
So every break is spring break for you, huh?
Pretty much.
Okay. Just making sure, because I was like, man, it's too hot to be spring right now.
I decided in the time that we did our last podcast and now, I decided to go back to school, and I have finished a spring semester and a summer semester, and I'm getting now ready for the fall semester. I don't know what I'm doing.
You're going to school, man. You go up the stairs, you go through the door, you sit in the classroom. Some guy wearing a jacket, no matter what the weather is, and a hat, he slaps you in the back of the head and says, "Shut up, nerd," and you're like, okay.
Hey, I'm 44 years old. I decided to go back to school and get my degree for some reason. So, studying computer programming. So hopefully I'll be able to program some of these things that we play at some point, which would be nice.
Speaking of that, I'm still working on my game. I made progress on stuff.
Yeah. Are you getting closer and closer to having something you can show off?
I've scrapped the original thing I worked the original level testing.
Mm-hmm.
I scrapped all that. Back to square one. Had to relearn how to do stuff, and I need to build a level. I figured out how gravity works.
That's good.
I finally gave my little character an attack. And so I need to get done programming the attack and then program enemies, and everything will kind of start falling into place once I do a little bit of here and there, and then it's just really level design and testing and more design and more testing and seeing why the game is still breaking when it shouldn't break.
I'm telling you, now that I've done 2 semesters of actual like programming, I'm learning C. Uh, I already at one point was like, it's a miracle video games ever get made. But now that I am doing programming myself, I'm like, it's a miracle anything works on a computer ever. It's still like
Well,
magic.
someone took a rock, ground the rock up, reformed it into something, made it learn to think, and then bam, computer.
There you go.
It is literally witchcraft, and we call it technology.
I've had some of my programs that broke and there were like 50 errors, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then you fix one thing, but that breaks something else. And so you have to go through everything trying to find the one thing that's broken. And I know there are things that make it easier, and we'll learn more stuff like that. But just making simple programs that don't even have any like graphical elements to it, it's all just text based stuff that I've been doing right now. It's a miracle that any of that stuff actually works.
Yeah, I could go on for what I learned in my self-taught tutorials from YouTube videos from one specific guy. He's like, just name this thing this, and do this, and then I do that, and it's like, it's not working because I named it what he named it, not what I didn't name it in the file. What I named it.
Yeah.
Good times. Good times.
And figuring out how to make files communicate with other files in your program is just crazy to me. Like the things you have to put in different parts of your program to make sure everything communicates with everything else inside your program. It's just
speaking of communication, what program have you been enjoying lately?
I have actually been enjoying a game on my mobile cellular phone.
Blasphemy.
I know, right?
It's like even I play mobile games now too. It's bad, man.
Like some of them are really good, and I still tend to focus on games that have controller support. I have a really nice controller that my phone plugs into. I have a Z Fold, and so it's a nice big screen. Works really nicely for DS and 3DS emulation. So good. Like I could not imagine going to a smaller screen to try to play games, especially DS and 3DS games on it. So I tend to focus on games that use controller support. But the game that I'm playing right now, I was told had controller support, and I started playing it and could not figure out how to get it to work. And I did a little bit more research and found out there is no controller support on mobile. I'm playing Metal Slug Awakening. It just came out a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, I've been hearing about this.
And it is so good. It looks really, really nice. They have taken that, they had wonderful pixel art to begin with, for those old Metal Slug games, but it's now all 3D modeled, everything, but it still looks like everything, all of the text, the way it moves in, because it had that mission start, mission completion stuff that sort of did this like curving swoop in and on when it was all the pixel art stuff, and it still does that, but it's in 3D and it just looks so good. It has all of the classic feel of those old Metal Slug games, but on a mobile phone with touch controls. And I'm surprised at just how much I am enjoying the touch controls for this game. Um, it does. You have two different options you can choose from, and a lot of mobile games do this, where you can have full control over where you're aiming, or you can just tell it to auto aim. And I have just been doing the auto aim stuff.
Okay.
And am surprised at how well it figures out what I'm wanting it to shoot at. It's not always the closest thing, so it does. You do get into some situations where you're like, I really want it to shoot over here, but it is still thinking you're looking at something else, and it's hard to get the character to turn around if it's focused on something else. I think I've figured out that if you stop firing long enough to turn the character, you can do that, but you have to take your finger off the fire button. Whereas if you had full control over it, you just point the stick in another direction. So um, I really wish it had controller support. Everything I saw beforehand, articles that I was reading, said it has full controller support on iOS and Android, and it just doesn't. Maybe the PC version of it, like um, if you're playing it on a computer, it would have full controller support, but on mobile right now it doesn't. I'm hoping they
I
add
wonder
that.
why. I wonder why they would
Yeah.
say it has it on mobile when it doesn't. That
I don't know. It was
maybe
really
maybe
weird
it's like
because
a specific setting. Or I don't know. I've never touched it. So
no, I looked all the way through the settings. Like some games will they'll have controller support. Honkai Star Rail had controller support, but you had to have the controller turned on and connected to your um, phone before you started the game, and then a setting would pop up and it would let you go in and change it. Um, but I tried all the different things, tips and tricks and things that I've figured out with other mobile games on Metal Slug, and it just doesn't. It just doesn't work. Um,
it just
I mean,
wasn't
it's
meant to
got
be.
all. I mean, maybe not. I'm hoping it does get full controller support so I can check it out because I think it would be even better. And like if it came to consoles, I don't know how or if it ever would. It has so much of that free to play stuff baked into it, with all kinds of menus and storefronts and in-game currency and real world money and um, most of that stuff I've just been ignoring. Like you can play the game, and so far I haven't had any issues where I needed any of the stuff like stamina refreshes. It has been doling out stamina so quickly that I haven't even had to think about spending $1 or $2 or whatever to refresh my stamina so that I can keep playing. The levels are super quick. They take, I think the longest level I played was maybe 4 minutes. Um, most of them can be completed in under two. It's really quick. I mean, it's got everything you'd expect from a Metal Slug game, all kinds of bullet hell stuff, enemies coming at you from everywhere, lots of explosions, um, and it feels wonderful. Like it is a great game. I would love to see this come to consoles. Um, but I just don't know how they would do it. It does have some multiplayer stuff where you can do these things called joint operations. And every once in a while, you'll have one of those where it kind of forces you into one of those, and you have to squad up with a couple other people to play through a level. But again, even those levels are only a couple minutes long, and it takes less than 30 seconds or so to find, at least early on, I've had no trouble finding people to play with. Um, tons of different characters. Then you unlock more and more characters as you go along. All kinds of cosmetics. Some of them are silly. Some of them are from classic Metal Slug experiences. It's a really really good game. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I'm surprised at just how much I am with the touch controls because it is sort of twitchy, and you need to have you know precision when you're trying to dodge a lot of the bullets that are coming in from all kinds of different directions. So I'd love to actually like if you and Cole had it have a chance to play with you guys and see how it goes with people that you are familiar with playing with and not just random strangers.
Right.
Um, but even the random people I've played with are actually playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. And I don't know, there's no like chat support or anything like that I know of. So you don't have people, yelling in your ear or texting obscenities at you
calling
because
you, yeah,
yeah,
obscenities.
yeah, you didn't hold
That's
up
how you know
your end
you're
of the
doing good.
So it's a great game on mobile. I thoroughly enjoy it and recommend anybody that's even remotely curious about it to check it out. I'm still waiting for that tactics game to come out. There's supposed to be the Metal Slug, turn-based tactics game coming sometime later this
That
year,
is
I think.
so weird to me. They're just Metal Slug becoming like a tactics game, and then this mobile game, and
There's that Metal
it's
Slug tower
weird.
defense game that came out not that long
Yes,
ago. Like
that
Metal Slug
too.
is getting this like surge in like in viewership or whatever it was a strange property to see getting so many different games so quickly.
I wonder if this is because of the well, is Metal Slug owned by Neo Geo, or is it just?
I mean, the game's still being developed is at least published by SNK. I don't know if
Okay, so yeah, I said Neo Geo. My goodness. But yeah, that okay. I wonder if just the overall owning parent company is just trying to spread out more on here or something. I don't know. But
maybe
I'm
I
good
think
with it. I mean, we're seeing more. Was that King of Fighters? There's another one that either came out or is going to come out soon. I don't know.
yeah
So yeah, good on them.
yeah I think the bulk of the development of this was done by Timmy, which is a subsidiary of Tencent. So they know their
Okay.
mobile games. Like they are the biggest name in mobile games
I was like,
out there.
how does he know Timmy? What did he do now?
So I mean, if you played a big time mobile game, Pokemon Unite, Monster Hunter, whatever that Monster Hunter game is,
Uh,
Call of Duty Mobile, all of those are being worked on by Timmy. So
I was about to say Monster Hunter Freedom. I was like, no, wait, that's the PSP games. I think. Anyway,
Monster, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember what the Monster Hunter game is on mobile. I don't remember what it is, but that is what I've been playing and still playing and absolutely loving it. So, what about you? What are you been playing?
so bear with me here.
Okay,
There's this game called Animal Well.
I have heard of this. I'm kind of curious about
I
this one.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Like the only thing I know about this game is that it's touted as a Metroidvania and there's like no combat in the game. Is that right?
There's technically combat, just not in the sense that you're like, oh, that's combat. It's like,
Not in the
oh,
sense that you are shooting everything that you see on the screen.
it's like, okay, I found a couple of fireworks. I throw it, or I go into a room. This blue orb comes at me. I throw the fireworks. They explode. The light kills the blue orb. That is the combat. Everything else
Okay.
is like run for your life and solve a puzzle, and solving that puzzle kills a monster or lets you bypass and survive death. There's like no guidance, and there are secrets within secrets within secrets. This game is
It sounds to
nuts.
me like you're just describing the Emmy sections of Metroid Dread, and
Kinda,
that's the
yeah.
whole game.
Whenever you get into like a boss area, that would be the Emmy sections. Or big puzzle areas, and you're like, okay, I got to do this while trying not to die. And everything is out to kill you on there. Well, 99% of everything is out to kill you on there. There's like rabbits that are hidden around the place. You don't know what they're for unless you've seen someone else play the game at the end. That's why I know what they're for.
Yeah, I got no clue.
And they are really, really hidden. There's like, you got to get your flute. You use the flute to like fast travel to places, and then fast traveling to places you've already been. You have to found these heads there on the wall, and you go to this one secret room when you fast travel, and the heads appear in that room, and they open up, and you can go in the mouth and come out on the other side where the other head was. But you get your flute. You can play it in some areas. Just play it. There's like specific notes you got to play in tune with something. I don't know. I don't even know how you're supposed to find this stuff. I found like notes on various walls. No idea what they're for. And it just opens up a hole in the floor and it's like, hey, there's a rabbit down here. All right, cool. That's one. Now to do this like 50 more times. Stole a frisbee from a dog statue, and then this big wolf ghost followed me around. And then I had to swap the frisbee with I had to take the frisbee, do a thing, get a disc that looks like a frisbee, and to make the wolf happy or something. I don't know. It's weird.
I know everybody that plays this game says it is absolutely incredible.
It is. It's addicting. It's fun to play. And frustrating at the same time. You play as
I'm watching a trailer of it right now, and I cannot figure out what's going on.
Right, and you play as like a little blob, like a little yellow Kirby, but you're not Kirby. You can't inhale or do anything. All you can do is move and jump, and you get an inventory with items you can use. And it's like, this is great. And this is how I do stuff, alright. And then you just figure stuff out, and you have a map system, and the map is huge and crazy, and full of death traps. I got attacked by a kangaroo. I walked into this one area, I'm like, oh, I can't go up this wall, so I turn around. The kangaroo just comes in and stomps on me. On my way back out. I got chased by an ostrich that was in a hamster wheel. And I already mentioned the ghost dog.
This sounds like the craziest fever dream that anyone could possibly have.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it looks incredible. Like the animation that I'm looking at on the trailer just looks gorgeous. Like it is super detailed, and it looks like everything's really running through an old CRT filter on a TV from the 80s.
Right. And you can turn that filter off and everything still looks really good. Because I don't like those CRT filters. I turn those off every chance I get. Or grain filters or whatever you want to call it, grain or the line filters. I hate those. I turn them off. Everything looks better to me, in my opinion. That's, like I said.
Yeah, I turn that on as soon as I see that it's got a CRT filter on it for old looking games like this, because I love that CRT look.
But I turn those off. The game still looks good. If you're playing like on PC or Switch or PS4, if you're playing on PC, I think you can move your mouse around and it like moves the plants will move with when you brush them with the mouse. I think. I know on Switch, if you have it in portable mode, you can do that with your finger and make plants and shrubbery move.
A completely unnecessary feature, but something fun.
Yeah, and with a PS4 controller or PS5 or whatever, it's got that little touchpad, and you can see your touch on the screen and move stuff around. I mean,
is there any actual gameplay to that? Like,
no, it's just a feature. It's like, hey, here, this exists. Enjoy. And it's like, oh, I'm moving this plant. What it would most likely do is sometimes the plants hanging from the ceiling will obscure enough where light doesn't go further into this little hallway it's covering, and you'd just be going through the room and like, oh, there's nothing up there. But if you move that, you can see the light break through and go in there. It's like, oh, there's something over there. Or you can jump up there and find out for yourself if there's a room, I guess. But I mean, that's pretty much the only function of it, other than looking cool.
Yeah.
And the game's like 34 megabytes. It's tiny. I need to beat it, but I don't have all the items, and I'm already at the last boss on there supposedly. But I still have to go and find all these stupid rabbits, and there's more secrets and stuff I don't even know about.
It's also the kind of game that I think I would set out saying I'm going to 100% this game, and then I would get halfway through and be like, just show me the end of the game already.
Oh man, to 100% it, you have to do a certain thing in a location without dying, and it gives you an item. And so the item, I think, is just a cup. Like, hey, here's your metal cup that's showing your award cup. So yeah, good luck with that. And there's a speed run mode as well, where there's a whole thing with all that too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this.
See, I just played Metroid Zero Mission right before Paper Mario came out, and I played through that game, and I finished. I was not expecting the end. I beat Mother Brain. I was like, okay, cool. This is the end of the game. It's been 3 hours. And I was like, wait a second. The game is not ending. What is going on? I did not realize there's a whole other chapter after the ending, the original ending of Metroid when you play Zero Mission. And it was so much fun. I loved that part of the game.
You get to see Metroid crawl. You get to do stealth. It's fun. And then you get
I got through.
You can go back down planet side and find more upgrades.
Yeah, I noticed that. And I went back, and even finishing that game, I finished it with a 67% completion. I was like, I'm nowhere close to 100%.
Oh, no, not at all. And watching the speedrunners do that, it's like, I would hate this. I am not doing this, so I've never actually played that one.
It's so good. It is by far my favorite way to play the original Metroid now.
I need to play it, but I'd rather play Fusion or something. I don't want to be that angry. I'll go for less angry, but not completely not angry.
Oh no, I think you should play Zero Mission. It is fantastic.
Oh, maybe one of these. No, wait, I did start Zero Mission. I started it, I got somewhere, and I got... Technically, I'm stuck, but it's just because I don't know what to do, and I haven't bothered picking it back up. Oh, well. Speaking of speedruns, though, call back to 50 sentences ago.
Yep. You got to go to GDQ this year.
And I went last year, too. I don't think we're recording anymore at that point, so...
Yeah. No, we were not recording at that point.
So yeah, I went to... I've gone to both SGDQ 2023 and 2024. And
how was it this year?
This year was good. Really, really good. I enjoyed it more last year because I got to hang out with J-Hobbs and Luigi and pretty much the entire cast of Need for Speed Running, a podcast. Which, if anyone who remembers the show from before, previously, we had Luigi on a couple of times, and I even did a special episode with him, Power Forge, Cutie Roo, and I think that was it. I don't know if there was another one. It's been a moment, but it was just it's. I get to see my GDQ friends. We hung out. The first day there, it's I was tired from travel. Within 30 minutes of getting into my room, putting my stuff down, I ordered a pizza to be delivered because I was I want food and I'm not going anywhere. Went down to the lobby to pick it up, and J-Hobbs is there. I'm like, hey. And he's like, oh my God, Ethan comes over and gives me a hug. And I'm like, oh, hugs, okay. So it's I am outside my normal comfort zone and meeting people and there for speed runs.
Yeah.
It was it was it was fun. I don't know if I'm going to go to AGDQ for 2025, but probably SGDQ 2025. Depends on a few things, but I'm going to plan around them and see what happens.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, one of the things I've kind of noticed just around the general vibe of speedrunning seems to have dwindled some from like its peak a few years ago. It seems like
it's
people
not
aren't
the
talking about it as much as they were a few years ago. Maybe at the beginning of COVID when people were not able to go anywhere and they were like looking for something, it seems like speedrunning sort of kind of
it
skyrocketed a little bit during that
it's
period of
a
time.
lot of people are at home. They had a chance to pick up games more and start speed running stuff that they weren't originally going to or something because they had more free
Mhm.
time, I guess, or they weren't being social out in public. uh,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
it's
I mean,
definitely not the new hot topic that it used to be. It's like, oh yeah, speed running games done quick. Okay, yeah, I remember that. It's like that's still going. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I mean, it still obviously is popular enough to make millions of dollars every year, and I
Oh
assume that this year
yes,
they still made more money than they have before.
yes.
Do you know what the final total was?
I know it was 2.5 million something. I don't know the exact amount. But if you give me a second, I will find out. I'm going to Twitter or X. Heck, I think it was still called
I'm
Twitter
just
when we were still podcasting.
I still call it Twitter. I'm not calling it
Oh
X.
yeah, me too.
Um,
Uh,
so,
Either
but
Twitter's
being
down
at
right
the
now
event,
or something's wrong.
I'm on Twitter right now, so it should still
Okay,
be up.
it's telling me to hit
But
retry and everything. So
being at the event, did you get a vibe at all of people being like, we need to do something to bring a little more interest back to speedrunning, or was it still
so
uh
they've reworked how they were doing the event completely in like the last I guess last 2 years. They've redone how everything's worked. That Games and Quicks introduced a they call it the checkpoint, a daily or not? Is it daily? I'm going through the thing to see when it was scheduled. Basically, it was like they have like a daily recap, and there's like the checkpoints where they take a moment, do some interviews, talk to people, normal stuff. But used to be their downtime to set up for the next game. They have a dual
mhm,
setup this year where you had not one person on stage, but you had like a divider, and or sometimes not a divider. And then you would have another person next, like a little ways down from them, and they're getting set up for their game while this person's still running their game. And so it would be like, okay, once this one's up and running, it's like, all right, this one's down. We read a few ads, make sure everyone's good to go. Read a few donations, and then it's like, all right, cool, here we go, and next one's up and going within minutes. Very little downtime, so they're getting more runs in there. So,
yeah.
more runs, more excitement, just and then they're picking more and more different things, trying to get more hype in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's good. I sort of skip over all of the segments like that. I'm just looking for the stuff on the games when I'm looking through their feed on YouTube afterwards.
Yeah,
Um,
because that's gonna cut out all that stuff, and it's like, hey, here's the run that you wanted, enjoy.
yeah.
Which is how I catch up on everything after the event for the stuff I missed, or if I watch at home, stuff I missed while I was sleeping.
So, what were some of the runs that you thought were the best ones this year?
Okay, so probably the number one run to look for would be the I think it was Ken Griffey Jr. Yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. presents MLB, a Super Nintendo baseball game. The runner was
Hmm.
Peanut Butter, the dog.
Yeah, I saw some of that stuff.
It was adorable.
Like it was cool, but
last.
how much would I mean? The dog wasn't actually playing that much of the game.
Well, I mean, there's not
So
much to
much of
do.
it
It's
was
hit some
set to
buttons and hope for the best.
automatically do.
But
I
he
mean,
went
well,
into
yeah,
like
there is
what,
that.
12 or 13 innings. So it's like, yeah, people are cheering for him. He's pushing the button. It's just amusing watching JSR. He's like, all right, peanut butter, and then he holds a piece of food up, and the dog's like focused on that. Then he waves his hand down at whatever button needs to be pushed at the time, and he goes, button, and the dog paw on top of that button. It's like, all right, give me the treat.
Yeah.
In fact, it was really great during the setup because like get the dog up there, they're closing the doors to the thing. They're like, okay, everyone, and I'm paraphrasing here. Shut up, don't be loud. If you need to leave, you're not getting back in. And they're like, if Spike is talking or cheering, y'all can cheer. If he's not, shut up. So they kept it very serious for good reason. I mean, you have a dog on stage playing a video game. And
Yeah.
JSR did say he's looking to expand Peanut Butter's uh, uh, gaming ability into something like I think he mentioned Silent Hill at one point.
Interesting.
I'm looking forward to seeing what else Peanut Butter will be on stage playing, or if someone else gets another animal into games done quick or something in the future. I think that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
But that is definitely one of the more interesting highlights to see. I mean, an in-person event, and they had a dog there. It's his second time running a game for GDQ, by the way. Because
I seem to remember hearing something about that.
yeah, first time he did it from home, and then JSR showed up at the event a day or so later to run a game in person for himself. So that was pretty cool. Uh, other than that, there's really too many good things to pick from there. It's just that one's one that really stands out.
Yeah.
Like if you tell someone, it's like, hey, I was at GDQ and saw a dog play a video game. They're like, what? A dog?
The run that kind of blew my mind was the blind Mario 64 randomizer.
Yes, that was so amazing.
Just and watching him, first of all, the first half of the run was just setting up everything he needed to remember for the second half of the run. And seeing him play through the game, writing down some quick little notes, and then remembering all of that while playing the game blindfolded again was insane.
Yeah, I was like, how's he going to do this if it's randomized? And then that's how he plays it first without the blindfold, has to immediately remember the stuff, and then redo it with the blindfold. So yes,
It's hard enough to play a game blindfolded. I've tried with just my eyes closed and fail miserably every single time I even think about doing it. So the idea, first of all, that you can play Mario 64 blindfolded and successfully do anything is crazy enough. But
it
then to
takes
have it completely randomized and then have to remember everything that you see and know the game so well that based off just a couple small little things that you memorize, you
yeah,
know what you're doing.
he has to know a certain sound bonk in a certain direction, and then it's like, okay, if I'm in this location, I do this, and just when he was in Bowser's Castle, or the Bowser stage, man, that just watch that video. I'm not kidding. I don't want to spoil it. It's just wow.
It's so good. Like it's only 10 stars. It's not a huge. It's not a
I think it was
long
16,
thing,
wasn't it?
but still. No, I think it was just 10.
Oh, okay. Oh, here it is.
Um,
10-star blindfold. Yeah, yeah. It was.
so
That's a good 43 minutes of your life to watch right there.
yeah, that is. I think hands down was my favorite run of the ones I've seen so far.
Yeah, and they also had Super Metroid back this year as a race. I think they'd done like little mini races here and there, but didn't make it like a Saturday prime time viewing event like they had in the past. And it
Yeah,
definitely wasn't the one to close out the event anymore. But that was really really hyped up to view as well.
yeah. And then
Uh,
I watched the Super Mario RPG remake that ended the event, which was really good.
yeah, that my goodness. I'm saying that a lot, but there was too much good stuff. Just too much. Dial it back. I,
No,
I, I
no,
want I want to be
back
mad
with
about
more good
stuff.
stuff.
No, it was great. The incentive on there to do the 3D Kulix fight was, I didn't know that was in there. I didn't do the additional content after the game, so I didn't know that. So
Yeah, I didn't either.
um, like
The
I played
the
through the game
only
normally, and it's like, oh yeah, just 2D Kulix. He's still 2D, even though we're in full 3D now. Cool.
yeah, I played through the game and tried to go do the Final Fantasy fight and got my tail handed to me and like, nope, I'm done.
It is way more forgiving, since like if one person gets knocked out, you can swap them with someone else, and then having the team attack stuff. But still, it's a rough fight just on the normal one.
Hmm. Yeah, it is. So
And
yeah,
there was
GDQ.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you.
I was just going to say GDQ is always interesting to see, and there's always a large list of things that I want to go back and watch. Um, so I'm still trying to catch up on some of the runs that I wanted to see. And I find some new things every time it seems like a couple years ago I watched the Mega Man DOS block and
I,
it's
I
like that
wonder if
game is so
Jason.
bad, but it was so much fun.
I think Jason still has. Was it DOS or was it just the first one PC? Either way, I think he's got it. I need to ask him about it. I have some ideas. I man, that game. Oh, and they what I thought was really awesome is they had signups for Evil Zone, a fighting game, and uh, they had like over 70 people sign up for this fighting game tournament. And then like they made a showcase or something. They had the tournament finals. That's what it was. They had the final four on stage battle it out,
Oh, that's
and
nice.
it was the winner gets recognized on stage.
Yeah.
That was really really awesome. I like that. And Evil Zone is such a horrible game.
Okay, so is there anything else from GDQ this year that you thought was worth highlighting?
The only things left I have are uh, the Super Mario World Relay Race, Kaizo Relay Race. I I don't think they actually played that on console, even though they have a rule to play those on console.
Hmm.
But was that was a thing. Uh, the stuff was done with that. It was awesome. Grand Poo World 3 was run. I want to say I don't think it was all levels, but it was like it was almost a 2 hour run. And they had Grand
Yeah.
Pooh Bear and Barbarous King on the couch for commentary for that. Game's named after Grand Pooh Bear, and Barbarous King is the one who made it, and he made the previous two as well. So it was really awesome, and it's like, man, I could never find them to say hi or anything after the run. I didn't even know they were there. I should have known, but I didn't check their
Yeah.
streams during the week to find out. Uh, so a little sad about that, but still, that was the thing. In the Super Mario Maker 2 troll level race. I actually went
That
and
just sounds
downloaded
like a
those three
terrible time.
levels just so I could play them. Uh, I only remember the trick for the first level. that they played, but
Yeah.
I know if you watch on YouTube, supposedly they hid the level name, numbers, whatever. So they're a little hard to find. So if you can find them, good luck, because they might not be on the internet anymore, but the videos remain. So that's good. Of course, the Super Mario RPG remake and the opening game, Yoshi's Story, which this is the Yoshi game, not a Mario game, but it's set in the Mario universe as far as I'm concerned. And it was run by Dan Salvato, the developer of Doki Doki Literature Club.
Nice.
And apparently he'd been submitting this game for 10 years and not getting in. And he was at the event last year. And I didn't know this, but he was the guy annoying the crap out of me playing Yoshi's Story in the common practice room with the volume up really loud.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was him, or I'd been like, oh my God. It's like, Dan, I need a picture and an autograph right now. And he would have been like, where did you pull out a copy of Doki Doki for the PS5 at this time? It's like, don't worry about it. And I saw him a couple of times running around at the event. I did not stop and say hi to him. He always looked busy. Same for like, I saw Spike, I saw Ruby. Actually, I saw Ruby Heart get tackled by a dog in the lobby. That was pretty funny. And it was not Peanut Butter the dog. It was like two other dogs that were at the event. And she's just like, oh my God, dogs! And just petting them, and they knocked her over. Good times. But going through the list really quick. Yep, everything. Watch everything. That's my suggestion, advice,
There you
whatever.
go. I mean, it was a good event this year. I mean, and it usually is. I mean, there's not many just like completely unforgettable moments. There's always something interesting to find in just about every run.
Yeah. And if there's a run if you're at the event and there's a run you're not interested in, it's like you can go out and do stuff. You can hang out with friends in the lobby. You can go to they have an arcade room. This year was way better fleshed out. Enter the Gungeon looked like it was actually working this time. What's the arcade version of that one called?
I do not know.
It doesn't matter. The arcade version of Enter the Gungeon was there again, and it was not broken. I wanted to try it, but I was like, I don't have a friend to play this with. I don't care at the moment. And I looked around. It was like way more fighting game focused this year in there, but they also had way more pinballs. Like last year, they had 2 pinballs, 2 or 3. This year, they had like 12 to 14.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's probably like 10, but it seemed like more. And there's also the board game room. Friend Power Forge was in there 90% of the time, I think. Yeah. I can't say enough good stuff. Oh, and the weather over there. This is over in Minnesota. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Okay. And the weather was like a constant, like 70, mid-70s. It was so nice.
I imagine it was. Now, Minnesota in January would not be very nice.
Oh, not at all. I've heard the stories from my drivers to and from the hotel to the airport.
So, do you know where is AGDQ going to be at this year? Do you know?
Philadelphia, I think. I'm pretty sure Philadelphia or something like that.
I'm sure we will be talking all about that as we get closer to when that event is getting ready to start.
Pittsburgh, sorry. So yeah, that'll take place January 5th through 12th over in Pittsburgh.
All right. Well, there you go. That is the recap and the rundown of GDQ for this year. And that, Ethan, I guess, is going to be the show for this week. Our first show back. What better way to get back into it than discussing GDQ?
Yep. I love GDQ, and we kind of planned this 2 weeks ago, and it still hadn't happened until this time. So
yeah,
a little late, better late than never, but it happened. Here we are.
Yep. So we are back. We will be back again next week. Hopefully, there's some scheduling conflicts that might get in the way, but hopefully we'll be back next week. Until then,
or we
Ethan,
might do less episodes more, or what? Less episodes less often to build up more hype between them. That might work too.
maybe. Who knows? Yeah. We'll figure it out.
But be
But
sure to like,
until
comment, subscribe, smash that like button, or whatever the kids do these days on TikTok.
all the fun things, and then where can people get a hold of you if they want to send you messages about the show?
The bat signal.
Okay, that sounds good. You can send me messages on Twitter at okitony34.
Send my messages to okitony34. They'll find it.
There you go. They'll get to Ethan. So.
No, right. it's one of those where I don't know if I want to keep using X or switch over to Blue Sky. And Blue Sky, I don't really know anyone on there, so it's kind of.
You need to follow me. I'm on there. So.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, we'll figure this out sometime. We'll be better prepared.
There you go. Thank you very much, Ethan, for joining me this week.
We may or may not do an AI episode again.
I think we should.
Until then, bye everyone.
See ya.